Welcome to the TRSBA 2021 podcast, the 10th of April 2021. It's the Commissioner of the TRSBA. It's Tim Wilshire here, and it's been 50 games into the season already, and we haven't really had a bit of a chance to look at what's been happening. So, yeah, basically what we're going to be doing today is going through some stuff, and I look forward to sort of running through that with all of you. And if anyone comes online to say hello, that'd be fantastic as well. So let's have a bit of a team review coming up as well. So the TRSBA podcast. So we've got team reviews, we've got the state of the playoffs, we've got the proposed rule changes coming up. So that's a bit of the layout today. We're going to look at the LA Pens, the Hurricanes, Snipers, Lions, Tigers, Jags, Nerds, etc. So we're going to look at those guys. And so we're going to start off with the LA Pens. So the LA Pens finished with the equal worst record in the TRSBA, 9 wins, 35 losses. I'd always projected this team not to do too well. Let's have a look at how they're sort of going. They've got the rock DJ Robbie Williams. They've signed him to a 3-year contract. He looks like he's getting a lot of time at centre. We've got Marvin Bagley. We've got Keldon Johnson has been a pretty good find. Dylan Brooks. But as you can see there's nobody on the team getting more than 22 fantasy points a game. So that's certainly very disappointing season for Aaron Garrity. Lucky he's got his own first-round pick, but he also has the Hurricanes first-round pick, so he could have likely 2 lottery selections. Also has the Brown Cows pick, which should be a mid pick, so a good draft coming up for Aaron Garrity. Then we've got the Hurricanes. So the Hurricanes is Mark Handel's team. And let's have a look at how they've got. They ended up with 2 really, really high draft choices in James Blunty Wiseman and also the other pick, LaMelo Ball, who obviously played 41 games, averaged 27.1 fantasy points a game. Certainly my pick for Rookie of the Year for the most part, but I think missing the rest of the season will probably hurt his Rookie of the Year chances. Have a look at the rest of the team here. Jay Crowder, who's I'm not sure why you're starting him. He's pretty shit. Chris Paul, it's amazing to think that this guy at 35 years of age is having a 29 fantasy points per game season. And that's what a season. No real injuries for Chris Paul. I don't think he's missed a lot of time. He's really had a fantastic year. You cannot dispute how good a year Chris Paul has had. Also, we've got Derek White is obviously missed a few games there. DeAndre Hunter started out the season quite well, but has only played 20 games. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart. Blake Griffin has played 27 games. Kendrick Nunn, pretty crap. So that's the Hurricanes. The next team we're going to look at is the Snipers. The Snipers actually made the playoffs. They ended up having the number 1 pick in the draft and drafting Anthony Edwards, which, surprising to all, could end up being the Rookie of the Year. He's been playing fantastic. He's at 24.1 for the season. He's probably been 31 over the last 20. That's just fantastic. Jared Allen, he's had a fantastic year as well, 25.3. But again, there's just not a lot going on in that team. Killian Hayes, unfortunately, has missed most of the season and was promised so much. Darius Garland, what an absolute gun this guy is. Certainly he'll have a 30 fantasy points a game season coming up in the next couple. Reddish has missed a lot of time as well. So Atlanta have had these injuries. Emmanuel Quickly's had some moments. Lou Williams certainly hasn't. So that's the Snipers. The next team after them is, this is a team that I picked would be in the top worst 2 teams in the Hang on. Cheat. One of the worst teams in the East is how I had them. So I wasn't surprised at all that they finished as low as they did. They did start out a lot better than they finished. They probably lost the last 30 games in a row. Probably they've had a long run of losing games. But the Lions, why did a team that as a 4-time TRSBA champion, why did it actually happen that this particular team, which has got a full cap, end up being the worst team by far in the East? Let's have a look why. And you can see why. Andre Drummond has missed 20 plus games. Anthony Davis has missed 25 games. The Beatle Paul George has had a good season. DeRozan has had a good season. Booker's had a good season. But even though they've got those 3 gun players, there's just nothing else. I mean, they should have signed Teo Maledon, but the cap couldn't allow it. Offered him a trade. Didn't want to take it. Klay Thompson's been out all year. They should have got rid of him somehow. Jackson Hayes, DeAndre Jordan, what a failure. Bismack Biyombo, Batum. I mean, this is just a shit team when it comes to the depth. So then ended up just having 3 players. And when you've got 3 players that average 30-something points a game, you're going to lose every game. There's just no depth there. And I hope that Dale can solve that issue going forward. The other team we're going to look at is the Tigers. So the San Francisco, it's all this rejected shit. The San Francisco Tigers, 14 wins, 30 losses. They made the playoffs. Obviously, would have got booted out in the first round. There's no doubt about that. We don't even need to check that. They did have Miles Turner and they did have PJ Washington. They traded both of them away. They've got Bogey back. Bogdan Bogdanovic just recently came back from injury, is playing well. What an absolute gun Tyrese Halliburton has been. 21.6 fantasy points a game for a rookie is fantastic. De'Aaron Fox, I think, ranks in the top. You'd have to rank very high when it comes to where he's at for the year. We'll get to the year standings. Kobe White, a little bit of a disappointment this year, in my opinion. Lonzo Ball's probably where he's meant to be. Sabonis has missed a few games of recent, but what a season for him. Wendell Carter, I like where he is now. He's only 21 years of age and is going to be good for that team. Obi Toppin has probably been a disappointment, but that was expected in New York. He's played over 42 games, but 7 fantasy points a game. Isaiah Stewart now, that 14.2, I think he's been a lot better than that. He's very, very good. Lonnie Walker, I don't think he is that great. And certainly Mitch Robinson's been disappointing that he's been injured. So that's the story for the San Francisco Tigers. Next team we've got is yours truly, the Cleveland Jaguars. So let's have a look. We sort of projected we'd probably be close to making the playoffs or making the playoffs. Hasn't been a great season. A lot of missed injury games with the likes of Aaron Gordon, and prior to him, it was CJ McCollum that missed a lot of games. So Jags unfortunately got rid of their pick. Kyle Kuzma has had a more than 20 fantasy points a game season. So that's looking in an upward trend, but that sort of helps with those injuries in LA. Same with PJ Washington. He's only his 2nd year in the league. Inconsistencies plaguing the guy. Had a few monster games. Playing a lot of center though, but he's very young, so he should be a great. It's interesting to see how Aaron Gordon's going to go now with a change. He's missed a lot of games. I think he's going to hang around the early 20s with fantasy points. Brogdon promised a lot this year, but sort of gone backwards a little bit in the last stretches of the season. Josh Jackson also has shown a lot of flashes. We've had Miles Turner traded away. We had Thad Young, and also we had Al Horford. So we had a lot of guys that we sort of picked up off the free agent list that helped us along, but didn't help us enough, obviously, and we missed out on the playoffs. We a little bit disappointed with Devin Vassell not getting past 10 fantasy points a game, and he's going to be built up slowly. He's only 20. He's a great shooter and a great defender. good defensive stats. So that's what we're going to see out of him in the future. And the Butcher's pick will probably be about the 12th. So, yeah, that's the Cleveland Jaguars. Now, the Nerds, we'll talk about them in their playoff run, but the Nerds had made probably the most trades this season. That's for sure. They definitely made the most trades, and but the best, riskiest move, but also the best move and the smartest move that they made this season was taking the risk to sign Christian Wood over 5 years, and that's looking like a genius move. 32.4 fantasy points a game, the best player. I even said at the start of the season that signing of Christian Wood would be the best player for Dan Howard, and I was right. It's been sort of hit and miss. But one thing that's been a constant is Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier has had another good season. He really has. 27.5 fantasy points a game. Hasn't missed too many. Kyle Anderson's had a great season, but that was mainly with the Jags. Schroeder, that's about what he expected to do with the move. Draymond Green, just getting too old. He's just not doing what you need to do. Sadiq Bays shows a lot of promise as a rookie. Patrick Williams, now probably a bit of a very good find to get him, possibly cheaply, I think it was, but we'll have a look. TJ Warren's been sorely missed, so we don't know how good TJ Warren actually is anymore. We had Larry Nance hasn't been too bad. Gallinari's starting to fire up right now. He's been an absolute monster of late. CJ McCollum has come back. So Buddy Hield, that was just done in another trade, I believe. So there's been a lot of moving parts. We like to look at Jaden McDaniels as well. And then after that, we've got the team that got knocked out in the first round, which is a bit of a surprise considering they're a lot better team than the Brown Cows. But it just shows you anyone can beat anybody. Look at this team. I mean, look, Joel Embiid. Wow. Bradley Beal. So there you got two guys in the top 10 in all of fantasy basketball. Zach LaVine. So you got three guys in the top 15. That's wow. That's huge. When you got three guys in the top 15, that's pretty amazing. Wiggins. So he'd start on a lot of teams, and he's on their bench. I'm not sure why Melo has to start. That bothers me a bit. Oladipo, surprised it's 28.5 fantasy points a game. I didn't think he was that good. Nurkic has had a shit year, as has Dragic is old, 34. Moses Brown, I think he's going to be very good, guys. I think he's. I like that. It shows that Terry's on the ball. He's only 21, and he's got this sort of play. That's amazing. Saturansky. There's nothing much else to say else there. So that's the Predators, and we go on to the teams that are still left in the playoffs, and we'll go have a look at the Cows. Now, this is a team that JB dissed me and said, Tim, you've got me down as the worst team in the TRSBA. You've got me down as the worst in the East, that is. I think your rankings are a bit wrong. And this is probably where I did get it a bit wrong. But unjustified, I think some of these players here have played out of their absolute skins. And let's have a look at that. The double Royal Julius Randle is a perfect example of that. Who would have thought that he'd be getting 37.4 fantasy points a game for the Knicks? Wow. He's been on fire all year. What a season Julius Randle has had. An all-star this season as well. So Rashawn Holmes, RJ Barrett, both guys in the 25, 26 fantasy points a game range. But look at this. So he went from 30.4 up to 37.4. That's a huge jump. Massive jump. And he's on a big contract as a result, 6.2 per year. Jaylen Brown, we knew that he was great. Everyone knew that at 24, he's just fantastic. Kemba has been moved around a bit, but he's ended up on this team. Not really I suppose he's done enough, but he's missed a lot of games as well. Jeremy Grant, actually, he was a starter. This was the guy that should be starting. I'm not sure why he's not starting ahead of the likes of, say, an RJ Barrett. To me, that doesn't make sense. Jeremy Grant has had a most improved season, and let's have a look at he's still above 30 fantasy points a game, and he was for most of this year. So he's been absolutely look at that, from 17 up to 30. That's absolutely amazing, amazing, and I think he should get that most improved award. Um, what else have we got here? Tim Hardaway, I think he's solid. D'Angelo Russell's missed a lot of games, and you can't rely on him. Cantor has been a good pickup if he's been here for a while. Let's just have a look at Cantor, see where he's been this year. He's usually gets traded a few times. So Enes Cantor played 29 games for the Red Devils, 8 for the Cows. So not a bad little pickup for the playoff run. I think he might be just on a 1-year contract. So then we've got who's next? The Hounds. So this team here had a 5-game series with the Nerds in the first round, which we'll get to. But a very dangerous team. And when you've got Westbrook, when it comes to traditional, points leagues, fantasy basketball, is one of the best in the modern era. And Vucevic, man, what an amazing season he's had. 39.6 and 39.6 as well for Russell. Just amazing. Russell's just on a tear at the moment, 44.3 over the last 20. I mean, come on, that is fantastic. Tobias Harris he's really, really good, guys. He's fantastic. Always 40 was a good player, and he just keeps getting better and better. We've seen Kelly Oubre have a pretty good run. Colin Sexton is a 30 fantasy points a game stud, mainly from his scoring. Harrison Barnes has had probably his best season in his career, I think. I'd be surprised if he's had a better season than this one. 25.3 at the age of 28. He's an old-looking 28. Let's just have a look at his career and look at that. His highest is 26.2, so he's back to those sort of years back, 17 and 18. So, yeah, he's had a good year, guys. Laurie Markkinen has had a fucking shit year, though. I'm sorry to say, he's terrible. I know he's only 23, so he can improve, but I don't think you're going to see a lot more from him. Mikal Bridges is an absolute. He's playing well as well. So this is the reason they're doing so well. Very good starting five, and the bench is got some solid stuff there. So that's definitely could come out of the East. Could well come out of the East, and they're definitely a better team than the next team I'm going to show you, the Wild Boars. At the moment, the Wild Boars seem to be struggling because of Durant and Porzingis missing a lot of games. And if you have a look at what this team has done, they certainly won it last year, and with the crux of the team that you see right here, Porzingis and Durant have missed over 50 games combined. Durant, look, 39.4. I mean, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good on a per game basis. We knew Jason Tatum's very good. There's no need to discuss that. Brandon Ingram's out at the moment, so that may cause a few issues. And I think Ben Simmons is a really good player. Surprised he's not above 30 yet, but in points a game, 30 fantasy points a game. The bench hasn't really got anything that sticks out, but they are consistent. The Wiki Chris Boucher, over 23 fantasy points a game. I think that career game yesterday may have helped. And if that's in the playoffs and that's going to count against somebody, then that's going to hurt the other team, I think. Montrez has been Montrez. That's what you expect to happen. Mike Conley really had an all-star season, but so he's very, very good. And we look at the Butchers, if we can. The Butchers, they are leading the East. Rudy Gobert. Oh, fuck off. Jesus Christ. So we're going to look at the Butchers. Can't even spell Butchers. This team is absolute team of studs. Let's be fair. They've got 9 contracts extended. They've blown the cap to smithereens. They've got Carl Anthony Towns back. He's missed most of the year, so he's definitely, he's definitely one that's going to be a huge factor if the Butchers were to sort of get through here to the actual finals. I think I think he's a factor. So they've got Gobert and Towns. I mean, that's a fucking what sort of combination is that? And then Kawhi Leonard and Donovan Mitchell and the headmaster Jamal Murray. Clint Capella off the bench. Fuck, 31.8. Jesus, he's only 26 guys, and he's a monster. Don't worry about and don't get your jocks. I mean, DeJounte Murray is the second best Spur. People forget that. Rocco and Olynyk. I mean, Kelly Olynyk. Fuck, man, you got him as well. That's pretty crazy. They've got Cole Anthony back. Yeah, Jingling Joe. I mean, they've had some good help there. That's for sure. What a team, and I think they're a big danger to anybody in the West. Anybody. Let's have a look at the Saints. I think I picked these guys in the top 4, maybe second or third. Let's have a look though. DeAndre Ayton has had a disappointing year. I think Maddie wanted him in the 30s somewhere. Zion Williamson, as expected, about 36 fantasy points a game and 46 games is quite very good compared to what he played as a rookie. SGA, very disappointing that he's out. I think that's going to hurt in the playoff run big time because he's been an absolute stud. Jay Morant has been shizen compared to his first season. Look at the difference between a Zion Williamson and a Ja Morant in fantasy points production. It's amazing to me. There's about an 8 fantasy points production between the rookie of the year and Zion. So Trae Young is, it was expected. He's actually gone backwards a little bit from last year. Michael Porter, as expected, about 26. OG Anunoby, I think that was he signed as a free agent? I think he was. He's doing well. Kevin Porter, now this is a guy who's only played 14 games. Jordan Clarkson, not bad. Thaddeus Young, I think he's had a good year, that's for sure. He's certainly been good of late, and he might help in the absence of SGA. Hero not being a hero as much, but still there. This is showing how deep the team is, and this is why I like the team because they're showing a lot of depth. I mean, we haven't spoken about Baisley or Clark, and these guys are 20 and 24, and they're absolutely doing well. Jay Sean Tate, Fanta Pants, Pocketchevsky. I think it was a good pick, D. Good pick, that Pocketchevsky one. I really do. I thought that was a good pick. Now we go up to Tom Hertz and the forbidden team of Paul Raman, whatever his name is. Let's have a look at the double doubles team. The double doubles finished with a 27 and 17 record. So that an average of 220 fantasy points a game. Let's have a look at these guys. Their team is built around Luka Doncic, or however you pronounce it. 42.6, just about leading the whole league, I think. We'll check that with the Joker in a minute, but I think that's up there. Jonas Valanciunas, yeah, very, very good. Big year for JV, huge, 30 fantasy points a game at 28 years of age, an absolute stud. And if you have a look at his production, you can see it's improving, 22, 25, 27.7, now up to 30. And he's getting just 27.5 minutes a game. So he's doing this in more than a fantasy point a minute. John Collins has not probably had the greatest year, 27.7. I think they're a little bit disappointed, but he's still young. He's only 23. Kyrie Irving has probably played a lot of more. He's missed maybe 10 games, but he's 38.5. That's a huge average. and I think that's huge. That's really, really good. J-Roo Holiday, that's about what I would have expected from J-Roo. Kyle Lowry, still very solid despite only being 35 years of age. He's bringing in 28 fantasy points a game. That's crazy. That's very good. Malik Beasley missed a lot of games through suspension. Evan Fournier is an old veteran. NAW, not much else there. Michael Carter Williams, Rick Rubio, Kevin Love. Now, I'm surprised he's not into the nine, considering he's back and playing okay as well. Now, let's have a look at these two top teams. So, biggest team that we all need to worry about is the Flyers. The Toronto Flyers are Pete Mitchell has got this team to being an absolute perennial contender now. They've never won a championship. This is a year to do it. And let's have a look as to reason why that, if LeBron James can come back, then I think that will certainly help. But it does hurt that he's not there because they've got Joker, LeBron, and Harden, and they can fit those three guys under the cap. Amazes me. Jokic is on a. He'll have to get resigned next year. He's on a pretty good deal at the moment. He's leading the league at 44.9. Amazing. Chris Middleton has had a good year. Let's be fair. John Wall, pretty good, 29.3. Gordon Hayward, 29, playing well. Smoking Joe Harris, Will Farton Barton, Terrence Ross. So they've got some good quality players, but it really comes down to that. How can they fit 9 under the cap? That's pretty good, eh? They got THT, Paul Millsap. Yeah, so they got a lot of veterans. It's just a veteran team, isn't it? A veteran team. 14 that fit under the cap and 39.4 under the future cap. They've done really well to do that. Just wonder who they get rid of here. It's going to be hard to keep them under the cap. We're trying to help the teams in these rule changes you'll see coming up. Now, the Barbarians, we predicted they'd have the best record, and they have. I guess it's a concern for them. We'll talk about that in the playoffs at the moment, but you look at Bam Adebayo, you look at Pascal Siakam, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Stephen Curry, Damian Lillard. They've got some really gun players there, 2 All-Stars and 3 Hall of Famers. Fred VanVleet off the bench is good, but then Norman Powell has been really good as well for 0.5. Biggest regret was probably letting him go back to the Barbs. That was a bad mistake on my part. I didn't think he was that good. Malachi Flynn, I like this guy. I think what I see happening with Malachi Flynn is him getting signed next year by the Death Valley Barbarians. I think he's going to get signed to an extension, which is good. Nick Claxton, yeah, I think he's very good as well. So I like all the way there's some youth development, like way under the cap, considering how good they are. Very good there. So on to the TRSBA playoffs. Stop that for a second. So we're back. Wearing my Indiana Pacers t-shirt if you wanted to know. Also, I've got Robin on the back. A little warm-up jumper, t-shirt, whatever. Okay, let's have a look at these playoffs. We see the Brown Cows beat the Predators 3-0. And that's surprising considering that the Predators are a far superior team. But let's have a look what happened. Yeah. No Joel Embiid. No Bradley Beal. There's 2 of the top 10 in the TRSBA. And you're not going to win without those guys. So it's just a case of it came down to a couple of games. Those guys weren't there. And they've got nobody else. Zach LaVine, not as hot as he was. Rashawn Holmes is playing really, really well. Look at that. 42 FP career high. Same with Jeremy Grant, also a playoff career high in that game as well. So well done to JB to get past difficult Preds. If we have a look at the next game, we've got the Nerds and the Hounds. So that series there went to 5 games. And let's have a look at what happened there. Russell Westbrook passed a record here. He's now 11 full time. And they're putting up a fight there, but, just playing a bit against a better team. That's what's happening. Vucevic, Westbrook, they didn't have to play that well here. They could usually get 40s and came with 30s. So a good win there. Saints were able to sweep the Snipers. That's expected in that round of the playoffs. We had 215 to 103. That's just a flogging, so no need to worry about that too much. Let's try to bring that up now. That's a bit slow. There we go. Michael Porter started. OG and Amanubi started. They gave some of these other guys some starting minutes. Williamson didn't play. Didn't need to. Porter, yeah, they had some looking really, really good. Didn't they, Saban Lee playing centre. What the fuck is happening over there? Jesus Christ. So this is what I mean. You need this is unacceptable lineup in the playoffs. That's just ridiculous. Look at all the players missing games there. It's crazy. Tigers and the Dubs. Now this is a good win for the doubles. Luca, Irving, these guys are studs. Two of the best. J-Rue Holiday is going through just a purple patch at the moment too, so just keep an eye on how he'll play. So that's the first round of the playoffs. We'll just go to game 49 and look at the Nerds against the Wolfhounds. The Wolfhounds just put them away in the end. Vucevic and Westbrook came back to their normal sort of play. Had some great performances on the bench from Duncan Robinson. That's pretty rare. Why wouldn't be in most people's teams, let alone how you got that many fantasy points. Prince, fuck, what? 28. Jeez. Barnes, he's had a good year. Yeah, wow. And Kyle Anderson led the Red Devils, so that says a lot. Butchers and the Cows. Now the Butchers are taking a 2-0 lead at the moment, and they're looking like they're going to beat this Brown Cow team at the moment in the playoffs. Carl Anthony Towns is right at the top of the league as far as where he is right now. Kawhi Leonard is a gun. Mitchell, Murray, Capella, and Deontay. So they've got 2 Murrays that play well. And Randall and JB, you've done it again, is, the only players there. They've got Cantor playing well still. Surprise. Now, we've got a bit of an upset there. We'll get to have a look at that in a minute. We've got also the Flyers and the Saints are tied. The Saints came back and won game 2. This is an interesting series because the Flyers have got a stud of a team and they don't usually score this low. So James Harden is out. That's a huge concern for them. He needs to be back. If he has to be back for these guys to win, has to be back. Same with John Wall. LeBron, we know he's a bit away. It's going to be disappointing if those guys are out. Ayton probably played the best game of his life. Still says it's not a career playoff high. Something's going on. Newbie, Porter, Morant, Clarkson. So all these players out. Hero is in the lineup, playing well. Vanderpants, Thaddeus Young. So it's actually quite it's quite confusing for poor old Dennis. He's got Thaddeus Young and he's got Trey Young, 2 guys. So it's a bit confusing that he's got 2 T Youngs on the team. Morant, yeah. So Could be Saints could pull off an upset there. We'll have to see what's going on. It's interesting that the Barbarians lost to the double doubles. They got 51 from J. Rue Holiday. Now, J. Rue is just in a huge purple patch, amazingly. The reason they won this game. Siakam had a purple patch for this one, didn't help. Van Fleet has been a bit awful lately. He's been ejected. He's going to miss some games. I'm a bit worried about him. Steph Curry should be back for the next one, hopefully. So we'll have a look at Steph Curry, but him being out was also a factor. But don't forget that they had Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he's going to miss a few games in this series as well. So that could hurt. So you don't want to lose a 7-game series with Giannis and Curry missing games. That's good to see Kevin Love back in the lineup. Doncic, JV, Irving is a gun. So they got enough there. Bertans, I think he hit 5 threes in that game or something ridiculous. But they need a bit more, these guys, as the bench is looking very thin there. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. So we go to game 50. Let's see how that's progressing. The Dubs versus the Barbarians. And it's a good start for both teams here. It is a good start. Zeller, I'm not sure that game will count. That's a big game for him. Bam and Siakam playing to their averages. Curry is back for that game. Antetokounmpo will miss, so they will have to. I'd say Karis LeVert is probably going to see some time. Look at that game from Nigel Powell. I would have Powell probably higher up in the rotation than LeVert, so that if something happens, Powell would be the one starting. Hopefully that's interesting. Very interesting. This other one, the Saints are looking pretty good early against the Flyers. A good game from Zion. Bad game from Trae Young, though. That's a horrendous game from him. Don't know why Thad Young is on the bench there. Interesting. SGA will be out of the lineup. I mean, just take him out for the rest of the year. He's not playing. He's gone. So just get rid of him. Put Porter in. He's looking quite good. Yeah, I don't know. The Joker's played a fairly decent game there. Will Barton, a career game pretty much at 34. So I'd say the Flyers have got a good chance of winning this one, but I don't think Harden is playing, is he? Harden will be playing, but Harden maybe not, in LeBron. So with Harden and LeBron out, that's good. This is two guys that average at 70 odd combined, so not good. The Hounds and the Boars. That's looking like a Wolfhound victory. Yeah, it's a bit of a worry there. That Wiki Chris Boucher, I wonder if he's what the big game is. We'll have to see when that is. Hopefully that helps out. So prediction is that Wolfhounds will come out of that series. They look like they've got too much firepower. It's only 222, but I think that could be enough to beat this team. I think it will be enough. So yeah, Ingram's out. So I think with Ingram out, I think the Boars are in big trouble there too. Durant sort of hit and miss. They're getting Zinger at the right stretch, but it's been a tough year. Injuries, tough. And the Butchers, we'd expect that they would run away with things here. Look at that 58 from Towns. He's just been a fucking giant. I mean, look at this guy. Unbelievable. Kawhi Leonard, 41. I mean, and Capella. Clint Capella. My God, guys. My God. Okay, so what's after? That's all the playoff matchups. Now let's look at these proposed rule changes. First one I want to talk about is roster size. I think 15 is too small when it comes to sign rosters. I always believe it could go as high as 18, but I really think that it needs to go to 16. Rostered signed players now, and I want a $42 million cap. So I can see a lot of the quality teams in TRSBA, because players' production is getting better. I can just see they're getting hampered with their cap. And a good example of that is, the team that was the worst team in all of the East, in the New York Lions. They maxed out their cap, but still the worst team. So how does that make sense? So we're going to get the caps probably a little bit more right. The benefits, we've got so many injuries. We've had COVID, we've had resting. We need bigger lineups to be able to accommodate all of that. We really do. And I think it's justified. And to me, this is, if all the rules, I think this is probably the most important rule, to get at least one more roster spot. It really does, especially we're playing 9 guys. 9 guys make up a lineup. And we saw in that snipers lineup, for example, we only had 4 or 5 guys that were playing out of 15. I mean, one more, just you never know. It could help. So that's the most important rule to change. The next one is the TRSBA playoffs. I want changes made to the playoffs. I want 10 teams to make the playoffs, not 12, and I want 6 teams to make the lottery. So what that would mean is 4 versus 5 in each conference participate in a 5-game play-in, and then you're back from a 10 to an 8 into round 2 like you usually are. So that's how it would work. Just a standard sort of 8-team knockout in the second round. The reasons, I've got 3 of them. I believe it's a more realistic split of having 6 teams in the lottery and not 4. I mean, I've always been a bit apprehensive about it, but now I think I'm getting to the point where, especially seeing some really shit teams in the West making the playoffs when they shouldn't have no business making the playoffs. They really got no business, none, no business at all. Another reason, teams are less inclined to tank if more teams are in the lottery. And number 3, I think 12 out of 16 teams is too many to make the playoffs. So I say, a 3-round draft. Now, I want this in the 2022 draft. So sorry about that, starting the 2021 draft. It should be. The draft goes to 48 picks. So that means another round. I think it's great. It's a wonder no one's really sort of pushed this before. This is the first time I'm really going to push this. And what I want to do to sort of compensate, okay, well, Tim, you're getting too many players on your roster. Well, add 1 more protected slot to build teams. Get them building up. So that 1 extra protected slot, instead of having 2 protected slots, you now got 3 protected slots, and all those contracts will be the same as what pick 32 would get. So 33 through to 48 would just get the same contract. Position eligibility update. I just wanted to make a point on this one. 82games.com to be an official source for position eligibility. I think we must see at least 5% of floor time at that second position to be considered be able to swing to that second position. And you can only pick 2 of the 5 positions to base your player. So, and it's got to be those 2 that he plays the position at the most. You can only look at those ones. So it's quite clear on 82 games, they've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if a player's playing 4 and 5, then they're a forward center. If a player is playing, let's say a player's playing 2, 3, and 4, like a Jimmy Butler maybe, we need to look at the breakdown of, is he more at the 2 or is he more at the 4? And then if he's a swingman, 2 to 3 is a swingman, 3 to 4 he's a forward. So we've had a few arguments about Jimmy Butler this year. Me and McD have said no so far. I mean, at the moment he's still a guard forward, but we need to sort of have a bit of consistency. I can see why some of these guys want these positions changed. They can only be made in the agreements with both the commissioner and the president. Now, for some reason, you guys think that we're a bit anal, or we don't like you, or something like that. A GM can still go to put a position eligibility to a league vote and get 9 votes out of the 16 in order to go down that path. Also, this is probably my last little bit. I think we should test our skills out at category leagues. And so what I'm proposing is, this is just an extra thing. You don't have to do too much if you don't want, but I know some gyms might want to be competitive and have a look at their teams against. There's all TRSBA gyms that participate in a once-off Roto 9 category TRSBA draft. And those people that know fantasy basketball know what that is. We'll get it hosted on Yahoo, or it'll be something similar. So that's what I want to do there as well. So that's been great. I'm surprised we haven't had anyone sort of online, but I expect to have a second session later today. So that's been good. I think if there's any more rule changes, I'd like to hear about them. It's been really, really good to catch up with you all. And I think it's Good luck in the rest of the playoffs. It's going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top. My prediction, though, is that we will see the Butchers winning it. So that's my bold prediction, is that the Butchers will win the TRSBA title and that the Brooklyn Nets won't win the TRS. They won't win the NBA title. That's my prediction. The winner's going to come out of the West. I don't know who's that team's going to be. I think it might be. I think it's going to be. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to come out of the West. It's looking, if the Lakers come back, I think if they get healthy, I think they'll win. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Lakers. But it's going to be hard for those guys. But if LeBron and AD are not there, not 100% health, then they're not going to win. There are plenty of other teams that can. I think I do like Philly's chances out in the East. I love Denver. I like Utah. I don't think the Phoenix Suns will do it. I think the Clippers have got a better chance than the Suns. And I think I wouldn't be sleeping on the Clippers. I think, especially the way Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are playing at the moment, you cannot count those guys out. They are playing like absolute fucking studs. So that is the podcast for today. Welcome any comments.